Hi everyone, this is Saima from Holistic Happiness Academy, and today's video is about the spiritual causes of anxiety and what are some holistic ways that we can use in order to help our anxiety. So, what is anxiety, first of all? Anxiety, according to the spiritual perspective, is actually a sense of separation or disconnection. That's fundamentally what it is. So, there are three major causes of anxiety. One of them is when we feel separated or disconnected from ourselves. We may feel like we are putting on a facade, or we may feel like we don't know what we feel like. We may be going through something called dissociation because we're so disconnected from who we are. Maybe there are certain opposites in our being, and that's what makes us feel really disconnected sometimes. We're not being totally authentic. So that's one. And the second big sense of separation or disconnection that can create anxiety is if we feel disconnected from other people, if we don't meet other people, if we don't interact with other people, or if we feel like we are not like other people. That can create a lot of anxiety. Sometimes that can lead to things all out conflict and wars in relationships, and difficult times getting along with others because we feel so different from others. The third major cause of anxiety because of a sense of separation is from separation from nature. When we're not spending enough time in nature, not connecting with nature, not being with our body in that way, it can create a sense of anxiety. And what are some holistic ways to actually heal that sense of separation? So, since separation anxiety can come from any one of these reasons, and there are many subconscious reasons, but there's only one effect, which is feeling anxious. So, what can we do? The first thing that we can do perhaps is to address our sense of disconnection from ourselves, because once we heal that sense of disconnection or separateness from ourselves, then we can kind of expand and grow our sense of connection to others. So in order to connect with ourselves, one of the things that I highly recommend is meditation and mindful breathing, because that can actually really foster a deep connection of trust within ourselves, towards ourselves, because we become so self-aware of what is going on within ourselves, that we can actually increase our sense of trust. There are many other holistic tools that can actually help. I can think of Bach remedies, devised by Dr. Edward Bach. Bach actually is as what he's supposed to be called, and this was back in England about 100 or so years ago, and he created them out of flower essences. Talking about Bach remedies, it's actually really helpful. They're easily found in natural food stores. You can actually take a course online and learn, how to use them and develop a method for using them for yourself, and for maybe helping others. I actually like using something called Rescue Remedy. I've also used many other Bach remedies. I actually also provide some assistance in creating a Bach remedy formula for people. Rescue Remedy is really good for panic attacks, shock and trauma, for yourself, your plants, your animals, and just 4 drops in a jug of water, sip through the day, can really be helpful. And then there's another holistic tool that I find really helpful, and that's essential oils. Essential oils that I use are coming from doTERRA. I use maybe one or two other brands, but essential oils can be really helpful in giving us an instant lift, because we're smelling that and it goes directly to our brain, and it's very immediate sort of relief from essential oils, and that's why I like them. However, essential oils can be used to process deep feelings and deep emotions, in as part of a therapeutic treatment plan, and that's when they're helpful for that. Again, the best I think outcome of these essential oils is that they develop a sense of connection with yourself and a sense of trust, and that's really important for you to kind of grow to any other state. Then, of course, there are rocks and crystals, or connecting with nature in some way. Long walks in nature will help you reconnect to parts of yourself and to the world around you. Working with therapies that include rocks and crystals, like I've got a little selenite heart here, and that can be really helpful as well for connecting with nature. Just using rocks and crystals, any kind of ritual, lighting candles, diffusing essential oils, meditating, journaling. These are all great, to use in as part of a self-care practice, where you keep connecting with yourself and keep building that sense of inner trust. Now, for connecting with others, for healing that, for kind of expanding your sense of connection, there's talk therapy, there's connecting with another person for that. It can actually enhance your sense of connection overall. It can be very beneficial because you're talking to a professional in a safe place. Hypnotherapy will also be, is part of that, healing the anxiety of and that separateness. So hypnotherapy with a professional hypnotherapist, or listening to hypnotherapy tapes, or kind of taking in those images and that voice. That's another very powerful kind of therapy. Group therapy, is another area where we can expand our sense of connection with others and start to trust the connection with others. And then there is practices that we can do in a group. So these are healing and helpful. They're not necessarily therapy or therapeutic. They can be therapeutic though, sorry. They can be therapeutic, but they're not actually therapy. And those are things like prayer, meditation groups, any kind of ritualistic spiritual group that can also be helpful in fostering, developing, and growing our sense of connection with others around us. And they've been, I think, used as helpful for anxiety for many people around the world, and they are very I think popular. We are actually coming out of a pandemic. Hopefully we're coming out of a pandemic, so there is that hope that groups of such nature, where we're just sharing hobbies, or we're just focused on a meditation or some kind of spiritual ritual, will be more common going forward in the future. But for the last 2 years we have not had access to this. We've had access to it on Zoom or via video conference, but I don't think it's quite the same thing when it comes to building our sense of trust. So we've gone through 2 years of a lot of anxiety that's been layered onto us. It's been a trauma. The pandemic has been a trauma. Now, there are other ways to kind of foster our sense of connection, both with ourselves and with others. And one of them that I haven't mentioned earlier is touch. Touch is in a very immediate way of accepting ourselves and others. So we can do a butterfly hug, a wrap around the arms, rhythmically, one hand and then the other, breathing in and out. And that can actually enhance our sense of connection and sense of being present and connected. Massage, self-massage, massaging the soles of the feet, massaging the palms of the hand, self-massage, like taking a warm oil and rubbing through the body. That can also increase our sense of connection, therefore reduce our anxiety. So that's something we can do. We can actually go for a massage. That can also again help us. Whatever we do in terms of repairing our sense of connection, it needs to be in a safe environment, an environment where we feel safe, and we're in a situation which we can trust. So sometimes what helps is to kind of go to a professional rather than try to do everything on your own, is to get some help from someone who's trained to do this for you. So these are some ways in which we can, holistic ways actually, to heal our sense of anxiety that comes from our feeling of separation, difference, and just generally isolation, these can create a lot of anxiety. So I hope you found this helpful in your and if you want to try holistic tools, or if you want to know more about how to do this, please subscribe to my channel. You can also book a consultation if you want to work more in a professional capacity with me. Thank you so much. Bye now.